It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat. And today, in our directing series, I'm going to tell you some things that I have learned about different styles of directing and ones that I think that are less effective than others. Now, most people have watched some kind of judge like Simon Cowell on American Idol. That person who sits back and is just a jerk, right? Sadly, a lot of directors have this mentality. It's the my way or the highway. When I was in England, we called this the Dictator Director, right? This is the director that is the boss. I've been a dictator director. Most young directors start as a dictator director. If you're there, that's okay. It's part of the process. However, I want to give you some tools to not be that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a dictator director, and then I'm going to talk about some ways to grow in your craft. All right. When you first start directing, you mark every single thing in the script. When we go over script analysis, we'll talk about that. You're going to look at every rhythm. You're going to look at all these little intricate details. You're going to pre-block, and you're going to have this crystal clear vision of everything. You're going to hear a recording in your ear, and it's going to sound perfect in your imagination, right? And then you get into rehearsal. And the dictator director has no room for collaboration with the actor. The dictator director says, you enter here, you cross stage left down to this exact point, and you gesture at this exact point. You do this, you do that. This is the beats. This is everything. And the dictator director gives no room for the personal artistry of the actors. This is a mistake. And that's why I say young directors often start there, right? Because when you first are doing things, a lot of it is just sure will. It's like, I'm doing this thing. It's passion that's driving me. In our mind, I think a lot of the times directors or people in charge think, I'm taking the most risk. Everyone who is a part of your company is taking immense risk. They are putting their own artistry on the line. So let's be clear on that. And sometimes your actors don't feel that they need to gesture on that line. The worst thing you can do as a director, in my opinion, okay, is give line readings. I want you to say it like this. Have I done this before? I absolutely have. I bet most directors have at some point. The worst thing you can do is give line readings, okay? What you can do is you can talk about intention, motivation. You can ask questions to get them to a place. If you ask, so the best note that I think I've ever gotten, and it was given to me in these words, is it's not the note, it's how the note is given, right? So for example, if you're directing someone and you say, that stinks, how do they move from there? When you say that stinks, what they're hearing is, I stink. I'm terrible, right? But if you ask a question and you say, hey, Jimmy, tell me about that choice. Why did you do that? Now, sometimes your actors are inexperienced and they go, I don't know. I don't know why I did that, right? But more than often, they'll start to talk about it. The question itself will help them to adjust just by saying, why did you make that choice? Why did you gesture at this point? Instead of saying, your gesturing is wrong, you examine it. Sometimes they'll have a very clear vision for why they did it. And you know what? It may be better than yours. And a good director is also humble enough to go, my idea may not always be the best. And yet is confident enough to go, I think the way that I'm looking at this may be a little bit better for this show. So it's that balance, right? It's that balance. The more collaborative you get, the better. All right. Now, dictator directing can be very good. It can be very good with middle school students, with elementary students, and with very inexperienced high school students. I would say the faster you can get away from it, though, the better. Everyone's got a brain. Everyone's got a brain. And the more we can embrace their brain, the more we can embrace their ideas, the better. So ask questions. Improv is not whose line is it anyway. All right. And one of the best things that I can tell you, I remember when I was in high school, I had a lot of directors have me write a character bio and write out my motivation and write out my past and blah, 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 blah. Right. And it never really hit me. And one of the tools that I want to share with you is working with the actors. And this happens when you've got time to do this. See what happens if they improvise. You know, let's say you've got a married couple in the show and you improvise the first date, the first time they met, and you improvise these different key moments. Now, what does that do as opposed to having them write it down or telling them what their history is? What it does, in my opinion, and I'm right on this, is it creates a memory. It creates a sense memory within them that they're not going to have to go like, oh, I had this tragic past, and let's say they're having a breakup. Them living, falling in love, them living those moments, those are going to reap rewards because they're going to remember the love that they felt in that scene. They're going to remember all of this wonderful, powerful stuff that's not in the script. And that subtext is going to start to show up, and you're creating layers with these different improvisations. Okay, so another thing that I want to say that get you away from the dictator director is do exercises, play games, move in different ways, try different things. There's this weird thing that when you're working on a show, whatever you do, first of all, you're going to have thought out a little bit, and your artist is going to be like, I'm going to try this. So in Equus, I did balancing the sticks almost every day. That I'd have people balance a stick on their finger, the cast would, and it would move in the space. And my assistant director, I was doing it to help on movement to begin, and then I started adding some intentions and things like that. And my assistant director started saying, now the stick is your secret, and you've got to hold it, in this way, and you've got to protect it. And we started evolving this process. I got to tell you, when I did Equus, the horse movement was built on that, but also the subtext of the show was built on that. When they were moving in the space, there was the lead actor was a trained dancer, and he was very fond of another cast member who in the show he was very fond of as well. And the only time that actor dropped the stick was when that person was there. And then when they were acting in the scene, when, you know, I talk about chemistry on stage, right? They had great chemistry on stage, really good friends too. And that fumbling that happened physically, she would disarm him in those scenes, this infallible character that he was playing. And this added depth to what we were doing. This added some intensity. Note this: the actor's imagination is stronger than your words. If you can do things that get their body involved, if you can do things that get them using their imagination to create, to actually build, not just write it down, not just do that, to actually build and create, what's going to come out is going to be layered. It's going to be powerful and it's going to be strong. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you to explore. I want you to encourage you to play games. And I want, and part of the goal of this is to say, directing is psychological. And in the same way that you probably don't like being told, do it this way, you can use the method of saying, why don't we try this? What if we did this? Using the magic if, what if we try this? Let's try improvising this. What if we tried that? Let's see what happens. And you're going to see amazing results that you probably will be surprised at when they come out, and you'll go, oh my gosh, boom. I've learned a new method in my directing style. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you. I hope this whole series is helping you become a better, more seasoned, more practiced director. You are amazing. Have a beautiful day.